everybody. Welcome to We Run on Reruns. I'm Amanda, and I'm here with my brother, Eric.
How's it going, everybody? We are here with our Big Bang Theory podcast today. We're talking about episodes 9 and 10 of season 1. This is the Cooper-Hofstadter Polarization and the Loobenfeld Decay. Say that 5 times fast. But
Yes,
we're here for it
Eric,
because, you know, listen, I'm here anytime that Leonard and Sheldon are going to get in an argument with each other.
I know. I just have to say, these two paired together, I think, are my first favorite pair that we've talked to. Like, I've liked always one of the two, like, significantly more than the other, I would say. Or one I just found, you know, much funnier than the other so far, but these two together, I've just really enjoyed both of them. I found both of these episodes to be hilarious. So I don't know. We'll see what the people say, but that's where I'm at.
I agree. I think what we're seeing is these episodes feel more like a Big Bang Theory episode.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. These were kind of ones that I distinctly remembered too. That really stuck out to me, even from the very beginning of the show, because there's a lot of seasons, a lot of episodes.
Well, and like we've talked about it now at length. If you've listened to any of our other Big Bang Theory episodes, these first few seasons the first few episodes in this season rather felt very Leonard, Penny, Sheldon heavy. Not as much content from Raj or from Howard or from any of these other ancillary characters. Maybe one. But now we're starting to see everybody kind of chip in, and we're starting to see a little bit more, not just, well, it's Leonard and Sheldon and it's Leonard and Penny, but we definitely see some more Sheldon and Penny in some of this today. We see more Leonard and Sheldon not getting along. So this is, I think, where we're starting to get to, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. I definitely enjoy that for sure. I think that there's just some classic Sheldon moments, like we do see Sheldon knocking on the door for the first time coming up in the second episode here, and just some other just really funny bits from him that I appreciate. But Eric, I will say one thing, that when I, looking into trivia or just like, quick facts for any of the episodes that we'll be covering, I do sometimes see mentioned, continuity issues, but it's continuity issues relating to young Sheldon in the future. And I'm like, I don't even have that in my mind. First of all, I haven't seen young Sheldon. I didn't ask you this before. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
I've seen clips.
So neither of us.
But
yeah.
What?
And some people are like, oh, there's an issue with this in Big Bang because it's not connected to young Sheldon. And I'm like, yeah, we're just not going to cover that. We're not talking about that, guys. So
listen,
if
you listened,
looking for that level of detail.
If you listened to our Stranger Things podcast, you know where I stand on this.
Yes,
I did not like the idea that in Stranger Things, there were people that were saying, oh, well, you needed to see the play to get this to make sense. No, this is the show. Put it in the show. The idea that these first few seasons of Big Bang Theory have continuity issues because of a show that wasn't even on the air yet for another 15 years or 10 years at least, I don't want to hear that. That's crazy arguments. If you want to argue that there are issues, the issues would then be with young Sheldon, who didn't script their stuff appropriately to lead into this show. You can't blame this show for what that show did in the future.
I was thinking the same exact thing. It's like, that would be fine to say as a continuity issue with young Sheldon because it came after, right? Like they didn't do their job, like tracking, some reference that Sheldon made in his childhood, and they did not sync that up correctly, right? Like, don't blame Big Bang. It came first, It just doesn't make sense.
It's that sort of stuff that drives me insane. And listen, I understand the people who are maybe super huge fans of a franchise and they want everything to line up perfectly. I totally get that. But I also feel like when we start leaving one show and going into another and saying this has to line up perfectly, that's not fair to either of the shows. Like Star Wars tries to do that. They're the best example of this. They try to like make things connect. They've got 9,000 different IPs out there, it feels like at this point, and none of them sync perfectly. So no. I'm just not hearing it. Take that argument somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned, Stranger Things, just want to remind people that if you're into Stranger Things, or if you just feel like listening to us talk about Stranger Things, please pop over to that series because we have every single episode covered in great detail. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely check those out because we really just enjoyed talking about those, like basically through every moment of the episode. We just broke it down, talked about what we thought about it. Then at the end, we did recaps where we rated a bunch of stuff. And so even if you have like a favorite episode or anything, let us know what you think about that. Give it a listen. We'd love to hear your thoughts, get some comments, and share that along with other people. If you know others in your life that like Stranger Things, or Friends is also the other show that we continue to cover. We're still talking through Friends. Actually, Eric, on the Stranger Things note, it came to my attention, Pedro had shared this with me, that, the guy who played the, like he was like the manager at the arcade that had a crush on Nancy Wheeler, and he had like apparently he's a New Hampshire native, and that he was like doing a meet and greet with fans in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Oh, was he really?
So
wow, that's kind of crazy.
So I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. Just, did not know that. They did bring him back, I feel like at one of the later episodes, or he's part of something associated with them. But that's kind of funny that he's doing meet and greets for Stranger Things.
Yeah. Thought that was cool. So at first I looked at the picture and I was like, who is, because I didn't remember, he wasn't in like the last couple seasons. I don't
think so, but he was like, I feel like when I say they brought him back, let me be clear. I feel like he was on like the press junkets and tours and stuff like that, doing interviews.
Okay.
Even though he wasn't part of the script, which is kind of funny. I think that character just resonated with people.
Yeah, but to be honest, I couldn't even tell you without looking it up, and I'm not gonna right now. I couldn't tell you what the character's name is, so just knew him as arcade manager dude.
He's the guy that Dustin flipped off. That's who he is.
He is that guy too. Yes. Yeah. For sure. So just as a reminder though, before we get into today's episodes of where we are at, last week, we had Howard hitting on Penny's friend who was in town, which led to Penny playing Halo and spending the night on the guy's couch. We also saw Raj's parents setting him up on a date, who ended up then becoming interested in Sheldon after he was way more complimentary toward her than Raj was being, because Raj was being a big jerk as far as I'm concerned. So
he was. It wasn't a good look for Raj. But we will start today's episode, or our podcast, with episode 9 of season 1, of the Big Bang Theory, which is the Cooper-Hofstadter Polarization. And like we've done before, just if in case you're new, we're just going to kind of talk about segments of the episode, kind of summarize it pretty quick, and then go back and discuss any finer points or any notes that we had about that section. So to start this episode, we have all the guys sitting in a room, getting all of their devices in their apartment connected to the internet, and doing things like allowing public access. So they've got lamps and stereos, and they've got RC cars and stuff with cameras on them that are all sitting around the room, and they're showing Penny how they can turn on and off their light by doing an internet signal that goes out of their computer, bounces around the world, and comes back and turns it off. Or when they turn on public access, people from all over the world can access their room and turn their lights on and off and use the cars. And Penny's like, wow, you could probably just get a universal remote for that sort of stuff. Like, I think that's how that works. And she's like, why would you do that? And they're like, because we can. Like, they're just interested in the science of it all. They don't care about anything else.
Right.
Of course, this is when all the cars with their cameras on them start approaching Penny in a very interesting way, only for Sheldon to say, hey, you may want to put on some slacks. And Penny is chased from the apartment. Who was it? Well, it's like,
Howard.
Who's running the red Corvette? Oh, that would be me. That would be Howard.
Wow.
Howard. Classic.
Howard. Way to be a creep.
Then there's a very short discussion about how they would want to live after they either, live after they're dead or after their body is no longer good. So like Howard wanted to be in an android body as something, essentially, assuming that it could be Jewish at some point. This is a pretty short discussion, but what it leads to is they're all cleaning up around the apartment, having this discussion, while then Leonard is throwing stuff out in the trash can, realizing that there's a letter in there that was an honor for Leonard and Sheldon to present some of their findings. And since Sheldon was not interested in doing it whatsoever, he threw it away. Obviously, this sparks an argument between Leonard and Sheldon, as Leonard does want to present the findings because he is interested in, showcasing what he's done and having that public appreciation for the work that he's doing. Meanwhile, Sheldon doesn't feel like it's worthy, and since he is technically the lead author, he decides to forbid it, even though Leonard appears to have, in this case, done most of the work. The only reason why Sheldon was lead author is because they decided to go alphabetically, for which, Sheldon kind of feels as though that's just me saying that in a nice way to you, even though I should be the lead author on, apparently, according to him, pretty much all things ever.
Well, right. Yeah, it's, this is pretty bad from Sheldon, just matter of fact, forbidding it. Forbidding this, doesn't even want to have a discussion. It's not even worth his time. It's like he did not think anything of just crumpling up this invite and throwing it away. I mean, it's pretty bad. This is pretty upsetting. If I was Leonard, I'd be pissed off.
I'll tell you what, I thought this did a lot to showcase, because remember, we're still very early in this series. So I thought this did a lot to showcase how Leonard and Sheldon are in their relationship. Because
absolutely,
when you hear "I forbid it" in a sitcom, right? Where do you typically hear that sort of language?
Like a parental figure to a child.
That's another one. I didn't even think about that. I think of it as like a boyfriend or girlfriend forbidding the other one to see like a friend. You know what I mean? Like, you can't see that person anymore. I forbid that.
Yeah.
Listen, we had that in
something that Ross says to Rachel.
No, we had it in. It was Emily in Friends. Emily forbid Ross from seeing Rachel going forward, And
that's right.
that is not
That's
an
right.
uncommon like sitcom trope. So to see Sheldon forbidding Leonard, I feel like put an extra level of, oh, these guys are like real close. They're not in a relationship, but like they clearly are super tight.
Wasn't it? You know what it was? It was also, not to go off on a total Friends tangent
That's
here,
what
but
we do. That's what we do.
I'm pretty sure. Was it Chandler that forbid? Because I can hear him saying like, no, but I think I just did.
Yeah,
right?
he forbid Monica from seeing Richard ever again because she bumped into him at lunch. So that's another one. But we've seen this not just in Friends, but in many other sitcoms, and it is usually, to me, a relationship situation. Now, I would say that forbidding from a parent side, like you were brought up, I guarantee you that came up in like Boy Meets World. I guarantee you that came up in Family Matters, or the Cosby Show for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's why that can cause a lot of issues in your romantic relationships, because just hearing that feels very parental, right? To me, it's like that's the first thing that comes to mind, is that I forbid you to do that. It's like, wait, what now? You know, and it's just not great. And so for Sheldon to be taking this route with Leonard, because as we'll see, we'll see this just time and time again with Sheldon, I would actually more classify him as being very childlike in a lot of ways himself. So for him to be in this role, he always wants to flip-flop between them, where he's in control and saying things like he forbids it, but then also acting like a little boy in many ways.
Of course.
And so it's like, dude, pick a lane, you know? And Sheldon, but this is also just the funny things about Sheldon's character too, and also what people struggle with, right? Who are you gonna be?
This is the thing that makes this series, which is great. Yeah. But this is kind of one of those first moments that we get a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this next portion of this episode, we have Leonard saying that they aren't talking, but Sheldon is staring at him, trying to make his brain explode. So I think Leonard is saying this to Penny, who has now entered the apartment and realizing like what's going on with this dynamic here. Penny is also trying to help Leonard figure out what to wear in his room, which really, Eric, this part, I felt like I was a little bit frustrated. We can, I guess, maybe talk more of the details after I get through the little recap, but it's like Penny was being pretty insulting about Leonard's wardrobe, which, okay, for good reason, to a certain extent, but it's also like, all right, girl, like, you've just, like, you guys are getting to know each other better, you know, you have more of a intimate peek into like who this guy really is. And she was she was being pretty harsh with him. Not a fan of his style at all. Basically, in no uncertain terms, told him to throw everything away. So she also wants him to change while she's in the room still, which to me is also like friend zone territory, I would say. Like, you wouldn't necessarily have someone be like, yeah, just like change, no big deal, unless you're sort of drawing that line. But then she also found this Battlestar Galactica flight suit. Okay, so maybe this is the area where it's like, maybe she's not entirely wrong about him holding on to too many things, but this is because he explains that his last growth spurt was in the 8th grade, and most of his clothes are that old. I guess, Eric, do you want to comment on, I guess sure. I know I gave some feedback about his clothes.
Okay, first of all, why would you need more clothes, right? who needs more clothes after they stop growing? Apparently, according to the scientist of Leonard, that's where it starts.
Right. It's just purely necessity. Right.
I understand that Penny is being harsh here. She's not wrong, though. Like,
okay.
And I think this is where we can actually see like the physical change in Leonard. Like we can start to see, oh, Penny is obviously going to be the one that helps try to pull these guys into the mainstream a little bit. And they're going to showcase to her, hey, not all guys are jerks. Like this is the trade-off that's happening here. And so if Penny can get Leonard to dress a little bit more the way that she would like him to, which let me tell you, he'll do it in a second.
Leonard, yes. Leonard is very much just wanting to please Penny regardless. Yes. But I would just be afraid that he would change to be whatever she wants him to be.
He
you know
would.
What I mean?
He would.
Yeah.
He would. Are you kidding? Like, absolutely he would. And
I know. But
yeah. If I was in his shoes too, where he hasn't probably really had a date in a very long time, and Penny is coming over and is interested at least a little bit.
He hung out with Leslie.
I don't know that I'm going to call that a date.
Well,
that seemed to be a relationship of convenience.
It was a hookup
for Leslie only.
Yeah.
They've got a date for New Year's.
That's true. That's true. Hey.
But listen,
we'll
like if Penny comes over and she's like, listen, you got to get rid of all this stuff. Done. It's got to go. No problem. But here's the thing. He's got he's got a very important function that he has to attend soon. And not everybody can just convert their entire wardrobe in an afternoon. So he's got to find something that works. They settle on the corduroy suit.
I mean, and I guess to Penny's point, he did have things like reversible ties and
he's like, well, it works as
corduroy.
Two. She's like, nah, it doesn't even work as one.
Yeah. Yeah. I just felt like, man, like he hasn't had, I guarantee he's never had a woman other than his mother look through his closet of clothes, right? And so
0% chance.
Yeah. And so I just felt like, man, Leonard, he's a sensitive guy too, and he might not be showing it, but it probably hurts a little bit. But he also could use some help.
He needs he needs that recognition.
He needs assistance here for sure.
I mean, to be fair, Leonard is typically rocking some like jeans or cargo pants or whatever with like graphic tee, hoodie, whatever. And that is fine. What he wears on a regular basis is fine. It's the dress up clothes that, start making him look not really professional.
But he must have had to go to like some interviews or something before here. It's like, just wear whatever you wore to that.
Maybe he wore the corduroy suit.
I think he did. Which I think is like what, it reminded me of something that I saw like Dad in the 70s in like a picture, it's like, it was very.
Oh, in a picture. Yeah. I was going to say I've never saw that in real life, in real human life.
Oh.
No.
Well, I didn't know Dad in the 70s.
No, I didn't either.
I mean, this. But I think that there was a corduroy, or maybe it was plaid.
Listen,
either
Leonard is wearing this suit in 2005.
Well, it was a trend back then. Like that was the cool thing. I don't think Leonard was alive when this was like the trend or a cool thing. So, that being said, Eric, but as far as the Penny suggesting, just change while I'm here. To me, that was like, oh, that's friend zone. Like that's like
no, I don't
know.
I think
because it almost seemed very like yeah, just throw that on, no big deal. Like we're just like
I think it's it is a thing that you would do with friends. To me, that would be a more like same gender friend thing.
Sure.
If it was switching, like if you are male and female in the same room and you're going to get changed in front of them, I don't know that I would do that currently in front of any of my female friends.
No, you're right. I guess I was thinking almost more because it's like so casual and not a big deal. And it's like, it almost projects that it's like, oh yeah, just like throw that on. Like it's not a thing because I don't even think of you in that way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. So I guess you could kind of look at it in that way, but you're right. It's like I wouldn't be just like casually like changing in front of like any just male friends either. So it's like I
don't see that. So I took that more as like I don't think Penny would do that with Sheldon. Maybe she would.
Maybe it's almost a sign of like closeness.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was a good sign for Leonard.
Yeah. Well, that's true. So we have that moment, and then we also have Penny. Oh, I liked this. This was Penny telling Sheldon a joke. I didn't write down what the joke was, but she was making some joke to Sheldon, and we saw the first attempt at Sheldon sort of laughing out loud, but it was more of like just a heavy breathing. Like it was like,
yeah,
and that was his, and that was his LOL. I'm like, wow, that was really awkward. Or I don't know if you made note of what that joke was.
The joke was something like they were down at the mailboxes, and Penny said, like, she asked Sheldon if he got anything exciting, and he's like, oh well, I got my new issue of whatever science magazine that he got, and she's like, that's so weird that you got yours and I didn't get mine. And he looked at her like, what? And she's like, it was a joke. And then he like force laughs his way out of it.
Yeah, it was it was kind of funny. But then Penny in that same moment was then telling Sheldon she wanted to take this opportunity to kind of break the ice maybe between the two of them and help their friendship along a little bit, and saying like, hey, I think that Leonard feels really bad about you guys fighting, and are you feeling bad about it too? And Sheldon is mentioning that he's having digestive issues, and she's like, yeah, that kind of sounds like you're struggling with this. Like you guys should really just talk it through. And she kind of lets it slip that, she mentioned that his little idea and his lucky hunch, maybe, she just references their problem as being like, or Sheldon's, I guess, contribution to the paper as just being a little idea and a lucky hunch is what I'm trying to say here. And, yeah, he does not take kindly to that at all. And Leonard at that same moment comes out into the hall, is overhearing this. Sheldon is then turning around and immediately looking at Leonard right in the eye and saying, never speak to me again, walking right past him and shutting the door in his face. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is not good.
This is when he then looks at Penny and she's like, and just walks off, like just throws her hands up. It's like, oh man, he's crazy. And just walks into her own apartment, doesn't reference it to Leonard at all.
Yeah.
Lucky hunch has got to be like one of the worst things I would imagine that a scientist would want to hear, that their whole work and their paper and their discovery was lucky. So I totally understand Sheldon's response from there. It was also noteworthy that at the very beginning of that, Sheldon said to Penny, hey, I'm totally cool if we just walk up this stairs in silence. Like, we don't have to have a conversation. Yes. And she's like, that's fine. And then like zips her lips, puts the key in her pocket, does the whole thing, and then goes, so you and Leonard, and just dives into it. Yeah. Can't help it. She's going to make sure that she's involved here.
And she's trying to help, but things get a little sideways.
It does. And so we kind of fast forward to the day of the speech, where Leonard does, in his best effort, wearing his corduroy suit, one last time tries to get Sheldon to come with them. He doesn't want to. Instead, he again tries to explode Leonard's head as they walk out the door, and he goes with Penny and Howard and Raj to the, what was it, the Hyatt or the Holiday Inn Express or something like that. I forget which hotel they were going to. But Howard goes into the room, comes out, he's like, there's 25 people in there. And Penny responds with, oh, is that it? And Leonard's like, no, you don't understand. 25 people is like Woodstock. So he wasn't ready for all this. It's like, oh, so you got to start with a joke. And he has this whole joke about this chicken that it would only work if it was with spherical chickens in a vacuum. And Raj and Howard just die laughing.
Cracking up. Yeah.
Leonard is laughing hysterically, and they're like, right? Yeah, okay, lead with that. And so Penny's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't laugh. I've heard it before. So,
love that.
Yeah.
Love
good from
that.
her.
We are Penny here.
So,
we are all Penny in this moment.
No doubt. So go in. Leonard is giving the end of his speech, and essentially we get Sheldon in disguise, like in the back of the room, interrupting with a question and talking, and then like approaching Leonard at the front of this conference, talking about how you left out the anecdote that I had when I was in the park and I saw the carousel, and there was a question about inertia, and it started the whole thing, and they, debate whether or not that's the same as Isaac Newton and the apple or not. And essentially this leads into Sheldon and Leonard having a physical fight in front of the crowd. And by fight, I mean slapfest. Like, this was wild. Meanwhile, Howard records the whole thing on his phone. And when it's all said and done, ends up putting it on YouTube. And, they're watching the YouTube video much later in the episode. They're complaining, understanding why they were complaining about the suit. Sheldon references himself looking like a flamingo on Ritalin. And, of course, right before this fight breaks out, Howard had taken pictures because Penny had fallen asleep in the crowd on Howard's shoulder. And she's now coming in saying, why are there pictures of me on your Facebook page that say me and my girlfriend? And the whole thing just divulges into chaos. That's pretty much how we leave this thing wrapped up with, Sheldon and Leonard eventually making peace of this whole thing.
Yeah, because they both at the end, I like that they both recognize that they both look like idiots.
Yes.
And you really get, I feel like almost for the first time in the entire series, a kind of a more grounded, down-to-earth response from Sheldon on like seeing himself on this video. It's like, oh yeah, maybe they should just be recording Sheldon more often and showing it to him later so we can observe himself, because I feel like he realized, oh yeah, I don't look so great here, But Eric, I know at the beginning of our podcast I was talking about how these two are sort of my favorite pairing that we've had so far, and it really boils down to this last moment of this episode, or not the very last moment, but this fight scene between the two of them. I just found this to be hilarious, especially the moment where Howard starts recording them and Penny just looks at him and is like, is this how these particle physics things go typically? And he's like, more often than you'd think.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but that response from Howard and just watching him record it was just so funny to me, and like seeing how ridiculous the two of them battling physically in front of this group of nerds. It was just so weird. I liked it.
I also like the fact that Howard at the beginning of this whole thing was like, Leonard, you've got to do this. The parties at these whatever physics conferences are supposed to be legendary. And
Off
it's like,
chain. Yes.
Really?
Yes. No, thank you for bringing that up. I had that written down and forgot to mention that. Yeah, they are legendary. Okay, Barney Stinson. You just can't fathom a convention or a symposium with this group being legendary, having legendary parties, but
listen,
hey,
everything is
we
legendary
did not get
to
to
its
witness
own
that.
group of people in its own way. So
I love it. I
Howard,
love it.
though,
I wish
Howard was not missing out on this. He was going because of the parties. So
that's right. That's right.
I did have one more thing to say, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm good with this one.
Well, I will say that I did make a note about Penny falling asleep during Leonard's presentation was also bringing me back to a Friends moment of Ross falling asleep after he insisted on going to Rachel's like fashion thing. Him just passing out because she was like full on, like not just dozing off, like she was like practically drooling on Howard's shoulder, which obviously he appreciated to get his picture. But yeah, I just had made a note of that. And
the thing that I forgot, I'll tell you that I'll just chuck this in there real randomly. But it was when Sheldon comes up and is approaching about this whole fight situation. He's like, listen, the joke about the spherical chicken, that was great. And it was all downhill from there. So like even he acknowledged that the joke was super funny, which I thought was great to call back to a moment that nobody gets. But clearly these four guys got, and so did the whole crowd.
Oh,
so
this group got it. Yeah, we were Penny in that moment, but the group got it. I will say, Eric, one thing that we didn't mention here is, I mean, one of the major reasons why Sheldon didn't want to present here is because he didn't want to present in front of lesser minds, and he's always coming down on everyone around him who really are his peers, but he just can't even be bothered. So it wasn't even just the fact that he was the lead on this paper, and the whole reason why he didn't want to present is because he just felt like it was beneath him, right?
Well,
and
he's of this
point that out.
And he's of this mindset that no one can tell me anything. Like he is of the belief
nothing to learn.
No, he can't learn anything. He will only teach you everything because he is the smartest guy in the room. And you know, as someone who would have, graduated college at 15 years old and probably has always been the smartest person in the room at all times, I can understand how that would happen to a person.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But I know what you mean. It's like he's never felt on the level with his peers.
But you would like to think that when he is at a university like, is it Caltech? I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
With all these other brilliant scientists.
Yes.
That he has at least something to learn. In fact, we've already seen that Leslie has come into the apartment and fixed an equation on his board and basically rubbed it in his face. So he's not flawless, but he thinks he is.
Yeah, but after Sheldon stands up in the crowd, Leonard does say, okay, sure, I need to get all of my validation from strangers like you all do to my childhood issues, but he's worse. And he's pointing at Sheldon, and it's like, so they both do kind of have this in them a bit, like for different reasons, I would say. I think Leonard, as he admits himself, like he really wants the validation. Like he wants other people to tell him you are worthy of being here, right? Whereas Sheldon comes from a place of like not needing. He doesn't even want anyone to say that. He doesn't need anyone to say that, So I think that there is a certain security that Sheldon has, though, that Leonard doesn't.
And as we meet Leonard's mom, we know that Leonard's mom never told Leonard that he was good enough. Sheldon's mom has always told Sheldon that he is this brilliant genius child. And so
that's right.
Sheldon knows that he's that good. Leonard is always seeking approval. And that does stem so much of the differences between them.
Yeah. Yeah. And Eric, I did appreciate the closing scene of this episode too, where we see two guys in China watching the fight video that Howard had posted on YouTube, which I did find out, Eric, that was an actual YouTube video, and you can still find it today on YouTube. If you look up Physics Gone Wild, you will find a video of Howard and Sheldon fighting from the
well, the funny thing is when you looked at the video that they showed, because they showed it as if you were watching it on the YouTube page. Great ad for YouTube during the time. It's amazing how far YouTube has come. When you look at the website that YouTube looked like, and you look at it today, you almost forget how original YouTube was. And that YouTube that was pictured is still like a progression from the earliest YouTube days. So it's funny to think about how far the internet has come in some of these things.
The World Wide Web.
Well, now we're going to do, what is this? Episode 10 of season 1, The Loobenfeld Decay. Amanda, why don't you lead us off with this one? Oh,
that's right. I'm going to kick this one off. That's right. So we have Sheldon and Leonard. They're coming home with takeout, and they're kind of in that ground floor area as they're coming through the double doors of into their building, and they're hearing this really bad singing, realizing, oh, it's Penny, and she is singing so loudly as she's coming down the stairs. They're hearing it as the first thing. This is 10-year-old me probably belting it out in the shower, really horrible, really bad, just very loudly. And so this is Penny. Penny, we're not all singers, girl. Listen, this is not your strong suit.
I feel like this is the same, she had headphones in, right? She had earbuds in, singing along. Because I think she took them out when she came down. And it's like,
right. Yeah,
sometimes you don't realize how loud you are talking when you have headphones on. And when you're singing with headphones on, you can't hear yourself sing, and it's so loud. So, this was not all her fault, but listen, it was something.
I'm someone that I can't always tell how loud I'm speaking even without headphones in. The volume of my voice goes up way too high. So it's just, I hear you, Penny, not only with the poor singing, but just the volume. It was extremely loud here. And thanks for bringing that up, because I totally did not catch that she was wearing earbuds or headphones or whatever, but Leonard is just like, what the hell is that? And then they're seeing Penny coming round the corner, at which point they are trying to kind of run in the opposite direction to get away so they don't have to encounter her and I guess address her singing. But she sees them, and they have this encounter at the bottom of the stairs where she's kind of like, oh, where are you guys running off to? And they're saying, oh, we just have to mail some letters and throw away this chicken that we just bought, because Sheldon is carrying a bag, and they're trying to, I guess, coin it off like it's trash, because
they're trying to find a way to justify why they would be on the way down the stairs.
Yes. And Sheldon's looking at this bag of fresh food and is just like, no, don't make me do it. You can just see their internal dialogue between the two of them. But Leonard really does not want to make this worse, and I guess this is his way of getting out of it. And so, Sheldon reluctantly places his bag of takeout chicken into the trash can in the lobby. And Sheldon is then saying to Penny that, because Penny is first explaining that she is trying to figure out why she wasn't selected to be in the new cast of Rent, right? and Sheldon is saying, I have a conclusion based on an observation.
Yes.
At which point, because referring to the singing that he just heard, Rent is a Broadway musical, for those of you who don't know. And yeah.
She asked him to guess where they were going, and Sheldon said, listen, I'm a scientist. I don't make guesses. I draw conclusions based on observations. And that's when she's like, well, I've got a tryout for the new Rent or whatever. He's like, I have a conclusion based on an observation. And Leonard's like, no, you don't. You don't. He doesn't. Yeah. He's fine.
Exactly.
Because we're all with Sheldon on this, like, ain't going well, Penny. This is not going to go well.
No, it's really not. And so she's then inviting them to this cast party that she's going to in hopes of getting, like, rubbing shoulders with other directors and getting noticed. And which I was sort of surprised, like, how do you, I guess, get invited to...
I don't think it was a cast party. I think it was a casting call. Like, they were calling in people to do auditions.
No, thank you. That makes a lot more sense. Because she's trying to get noticed. So maybe she could get, the part in another play, like that one of these other directors
somebody in Rent was not able to do the part. So she was able to go down to this casting call to attempt to take the part back.
Yes.
And so that is really why she was on the way there. And this is why Sheldon's drawing conclusions like, it sounded like maybe she almost was guaranteed the part, like she was the backup, so she was going to have this part. But at the same time, then she is inviting them to go to the performance. And they're like, Leonard's like, nope, we're not going to go sit through 2 hours of that chaos. Like, not a chance. Because I think Penny was hoping that as she was at this performance, there would be many directors and people in the audience. That way she could get noticed to go to something else. So it's a little bit of all these different things.
Yeah, a good call. And not only is it like just not their scene at all, so it was almost like an automatic reflex for Leonard to just like figure out like what's my quickest way out of this scenario, but also because he doesn't want to have to lie to her about hearing her sing and how he really feels about it or hurt her feelings. But I think it's more about the hurting the feelings part though. And Sheldon is... because it's less about the lie because he immediately lies to her. So, and Sheldon is like, wow, very concerned with how quickly Leonard came up with that lie. And, the symposium, he came up with this lie about this symposium for work so they could skip the party. Oh, yeah, I think I mentioned a symposium in the last episode a couple times. That was not the symposium. This is the symposium.
Well, listen, it's
the fake symposium.
This is called, this is a fake symposium that they reference. Yeah. Although it is a real one.
It is.
But it's not for a little while. The last episode, they didn't call it a symposium. I don't know what they called it. A conference.
It was
whatever.
It was a conference.
But that being said, listen, this whole scene, the most concerning part to me is not how easily Leonard lied, nor how Sheldon was able to like have observations. It was the fact that Sheldon at the end of this scene pulls the chicken out of the trash can and brings it upstairs. And I'm like,
no,
I can't believe what I just said. You want to talk about people who have issues with continuity? Now we're talking, because that's right. That is not a thing that Sheldon would ever do. Like, if he would not come close to eating food that was out of a trash can.
No way, not a chance. There is no way that this would have been something that Sheldon would do. This is way more far-fetched. I know we talked about how there was the episode where he, snuck into Penny's apartment in the very beginning, and that doesn't seem like something that he would do. But this tops that by far. Like,
this tops that by far, because the other one, you could see how he was so obsessively compulsed to go over and do something that he would see that is a favor more than something that is wrong. This, no chance. I will reference this for the next year and a half of us doing this podcast, or however long we're doing Big Bang Theory for, because it's just going to be the thing that does not make sense with Sheldon.
I mean, the only explanation I could come up with is like he never left. Like maybe it was a new trash bag. Maybe there was nothing else in it. Like, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Listen,
I know. It's a problem.
I don't think he would eat food that was on another person's plate.
No, right.
Alone out of a trash can.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway, let's move from here. So at this point, the boys have now gone upstairs. It is now bedtime. They are sleeping, or they're attempting to sleep, as we now have Sheldon waking up Leonard, and Leonard is attempting to explain the social norm of saying good job to a friend who is proud of some. Oh, yes. Leonard has come out of bed. Sheldon has literally gotten Leonard to get up from the bed, and they've come out into the kitchen
at 2 a.m.
at who knows what hour.
That's what, and you mentioned that.
Sheldon or Leonard is explaining to Sheldon, like, hey, listen, when someone is bad at something and they're really proud of what they did, even though they're bad at it, the social norm is to say good job. And this is when Sheldon goes, oh, okay. Because he's trying to learn the social norms he doesn't know. And he's trying to learn them. No. So he says, hey, Leonard, when we played chess earlier today, that was great. And I can't wait to do it again.
Oh, like, my gosh. Yeah.
All right.
That was pretty funny.
But then we see Sheldon waking up Leonard again, concerned that the lie is not good enough. Because if Penny were to go onto the website and go to / whatever and scroll down to the other and then go through the menu, she would see that the Symposium on Molecular Positronium is actually next Friday, and then our pants are on fire. And
because Sheldon is just seeing this all through his own lens. Like, what would he might actually do that, right? Like, dig into those types of details. Penny is never going to be doing this, Sheldon.
Not in a million bajillion years is Penny even going to find that website. That being said, Sheldon is disturbed at this and spends the night trying to craft an unbreakable, ununravelable lie, and he ends up going over and waking up Penny early in the morning, and this is when we get our first knock 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 Penny, knock 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 Penny, knock 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 Penny of Sheldon's career, of which we will see many times going forward. But he wakes up Penny and basically tells Penny that that Leonard has lied to her about the symposium. Now, do we want to stop there? Or do we want to roll into the next thing? Okay.
I mean,
thoughts?
I will also point out that he did the first door knock on Leonard's door that was like at 2 a.m. or whatever to wake him up. And I just made note of, and I saw that there were some comments about this online too, that in this initial like cadence of the door knock, he doesn't do just like on Leonard's door, he just continues to knock until he like opens the door. And then we'll see in the future where it's like he has this like very specific pattern that he follows. So I just thought it was interesting that they kind of started it slightly different. But
I do think there are some of these things where even the writers are kind of discovering Sheldon as they're going. And so like this is where the like chicken out of the trash can, while that would never be anything in the future, it's something that maybe he would have done. Although all you would have had to have done is have Leonard do it. Like if Leonard had done it and he could have like sold it to Sheldon, like as like he went and got new chicken.
And
which is what he would do going forward.
And to me, I just really enjoyed seeing Sheldon's extreme overthinking here, right? Similarly to how we saw it wake him up in the middle of the night because Penny's room or her apartment was so messy. This is also just keeping him up at night, just panicking in a total frenzy, frantically having to get in touch with both Leonard and Penny then because he can't get this lie off of his mind. So it's very much like he really has a very strict code that he follows, and the way that he's thinking about things, he's assuming that everyone else is following this very logical train of thought too. Like Penny's obviously going to be searching online and getting into those details. It's like, no, she's not at all. And I found it interesting that Leonard really never pointed that out. Like, she's never going to find this. He never just outright says that. You know, he's more just frustrated with him, but it's they both think, oh, that's maybe plausible. I don't know that she would discover their lie, but yeah.
I don't think Leonard thinks it's plausible at all, but
yeah, okay,
Sheldon certainly does. And so therefore he takes it upon himself to craft this crazy lie. Do you want to pick it up from here?
Yeah, so I love this moment too, where he's going back to Leonard and telling Leonard that he has now lied to protect him. Basically, he's created a new lie to prevent or to take the place of Leonard's lesser lie. So basically, Leonard, it wasn't so much that the lie bothered Sheldon, it was the fact that his lie had holes in it that bothered Sheldon, right?
It was too easy.
It could have been found out, right?
Too easy to be found out.
Right. And so now he's figured out a better lie to protect him, and they are going to need to convince his cousin Leopold to go back to rehab. And because his lie wasn't good enough, Sheldon had gone through this elaborate story and created this entire backstory for Leopold online. He's created websites, he's created profiles. He can relapse if Penny ever invites us out to have her sing again, is what he's saying. He's like, we can use this like time and time again into the future if we ever need to. And Penny has also agreed to lie as if Leonard's lie is still in full force, meaning Leonard doesn't have to worry about Penny coming to him saying like, hey dude, why did you lie to me? He's covered that base.
Listen,
wow,
this is
elaborate. I don't even know.
This is impressive. This is impressive because here's the thing. This checks so many boxes as far as like a detailed lie that you would want to have for Leonard, who's most concerned about Penny finding out. Sheldon really doesn't care, I don't think, if Penny finds out, but Leonard does.
No.
So, so here's the thing. Sheldon has made this lie because Leonard made a lie. And so he's trying to fix Leonard's work. And so in order to do so, he doesn't really care about Penny finding out, but he's trying to make sure that the lie that Leonard did is fixed better.
You're right. Yeah.
So he's created all these profiles. He's done all that stuff, just like what you said. But at the same time, the take home note is that he's convinced Penny, Sheldon has convinced Penny, that Leonard lied about the symposium to save Sheldon from the embarrassment of having relapsing cousin. So Penny can come to Leonard and talk about the symposium.
This is
and Leonard doesn't have to worry about it because his original lie is in place as far as Penny is concerned, even though Sheldon has outed this whole situation. And all that does is make Leonard look like such an amazing guy in front of Penny. I mean, to be fair, brilliant.
But it's way too much to keep track of.
See, it doesn't. There's nothing for Leonard to keep track of. There's nothing to keep track of. He's good until Howard and Raj blow the whole thing.
Oh my God, this whole thing was so funny. Yeah, because then Penny is showing up to say, "Hey, good luck at your symposium." Wink. Yeah, and Leonard is like, "Well, I don't know what to say," and she's giving him this long hug, and he's like, "I really don't know what to say," but he's more than happy to be getting the sympathetic hug from Penny, of course. And then Howard and Raj walk in, and I just cracked up in this moment as well, because they're all hurt that they're not invited to the symposium, because
the fact that they referred to it as bogarting the symposium to me was so funny. Like that Howard they are keeping this at like arm's length, like you guys can't come, it's only the cool people, so it's us and you guys are out. Like that was super funny.
Howard says, "You're quark blocking us." Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Listen.
And Penny is insisting Sheldon then tells the truth.
Yes.
Because she's like, guys, like she's realizing it's causing tension within the group here, and she feels like she knows the truth, and she's like, "Sheldon, you just need to come out with it, right?" And Penny then is like, "You know what? I'll just explain." And then she goes into detail about how, you know, this whole situation with Leopold, and that everyone's families experience drug use. It's nothing to be ashamed of, you know, knows that they have to go to this motel in Long Beach to save Leopold. And, yeah, it's this whole situation. But then after she leaves, the guys do explain what's happening and that there really is no symposium, but they all still want to go to Long Beach.
Well, they said like, "Well, what's in Long Beach?" And it's like, well, they've got a pretty decent like murder mystery place that they could go to, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds great." And then Leonard's like, "Wait, are we actually going to Long Beach?" Yes. So they all went to some murder mystery dinner instead.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And with that, this all comes to an end here with Sheldon then waking up Leonard again in the middle of the night. Not because like Leonard thinks that he's worried. He's like, "Well, listen, what was it? The bellboy did it. Get over it." And it's like, oh, you can just tell that there was some continuity issue with Sheldon and the script of the murder mystery. So, so you can tell they've already had this argument for a long time. But Sheldon is now worried about the current version of their lie, because we're going to tell Penny that Leo would have gone back to rehab, but he wouldn't have gone back to rehab because he's the quintessential middle child. And we're never going to be able to convince him to go back. He would never go back on the first try.
Because obviously that's something that Penny would think of, right?
And of course, Leonard is like, "What are you even talking about?" And Sheldon's like, "Listen, we're in this to try and clean up the mess that you made." And it's like, wait, no. You made this. You've made this whole thing. But again, like I said, from Sheldon's perspective, this is all just fixing Leonard's inappropriate lie the first time.
Yes.
So we wake up in the morning to find out that in the middle of the night, Sheldon has now cast Leo. And there is this person in their kitchen. And it's like, wait a minute. And Leonard's walking in like, "Who is this?" And it's like, "I am Sheldon's cousin Leopold." And it's like, oh my God, this is now a thing that we're going to have to deal with, only for there to be an argument about going on and off script about things. And Sheldon saying, "Listen, you have to play genetic predisposition."
Yes.
He's like, "How am I supposed to play that?"
He's showing up saying, oh, this is Toby Loobenfeld, which is where we get the title of this episode from. And he's like, this is my research assistant who also doubled in theater at MIT. And so apparently this is this guy's like dream to be having a role and wanting to really go off script, but saying, no, you have to just stick with genetic predisposition. You are not a 14-year-old abused in the Philippines by a club-footed Navy chaplain, which is the story that he wanted to go with. Yeah.
So, of course, Penny comes, knocks on the door, wants to see how the intervention went, only for Sheldon to say, hey, it didn't go great. We weren't able to convince him to go back. And she says, well, based on what you told me, I'm not surprised. For Sheldon to shoot Leonard back a look like, see, told you, she would have unraveled the whole thing.
Oh my God.
And then he, of course, invites Penny to come in and meet Leopold. And Leo just starts going off script immediately, going on and on about whatever, only for Sheldon and Leo to then get into this big argument with each other, for then Penny to come up to Leonard and say, hey, do you want to come over and watch the video of my performance from last night? And he's like, sure. And she's like, this is better because now I get to watch you watch me. And it's like, oh, no pressure.
This is so much
now,
worse.
Instead of going to the thing, he now gets to sit in Penny's apartment and watch it with her staring at him the whole time.
This is what happens when you lie, people.
We get the closing scene of Leo making the moves on Penny and Leonard being like, how long until we get this guy out of here? Right. And Sheldon's basically like, listen, he can't just leave right now. He's playing this part of, relapsing. He can't just go tomorrow. You have a lot to learn about lying, Leonard.
Yeah, he's a homeless drug addict, Leonard. Where's he gonna go? It's like, wow. Yeah, he is really into this part. I feel like Sheldon likes playing the part of director in this scene. There's this moment where, like, before they open the door to Penny coming in, Sheldon's like, just have fun with it. He's saying to Leopold. And yeah, he does, because him going into that monologue about, being abused in the Philippines, I don't know why. I just cracked up in that moment. I thought that actor that played Toby Loobenfeld was really, really funny. And that whole scene was just great. I just really appreciated that. Just this whole back and forth with the lie and it turning out, going from something super minor to just like snowballing into this whole story. I love this episode. To me, this is like classic Big Bang Theory. I just really appreciated this one. So good.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to jump into our IMDb rating segment of this podcast, where we talk about our ratings up against your ratings as we find them on IMDb. And we're going to mention our favorite and least favorite characters of these two episodes. I'll tell you what, I'm going first because usually I ask, but no, I want to put mine down on the record because this is the first time that I'm going to type in Sheldon's name to favorite character. I think he was a little bit or a lot annoying in these two episodes, but boy, was it like classic Sheldon, in my opinion. Aside from the taking the chicken out of the trash can, it was great. I loved every bit of it. So Sheldon is my favorite. I will jump, unfortunately, and just dump on Raj because he was just invisible. Like, he was literally not involved in these two episodes barely at all.
Yeah, he was kind of my shoo-in for least favorite for that reason, because it was sort of like, wait, where was Raj in these? He really was not highlighted at all. I mean, I know we're kind of talking about that they're integrating their stories a lot more, but really the only moment that is notable is when he came in with Howard and Penny had to explain this whole backstory in that episode. And the one before, it's like, I guess he was in the audience with Howard, but yeah, really didn't have.
He also had
standout.
He had the scene at the beginning where they were having all the lights going on and off and talking about the android bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But after a little while, he kind of just faded off into the distance. And it's unfortunate because last week we had that grasshopper experiment episode, which was Raj centered, but it just casts such a negative light on him that I feel like now I've gone back to back bad, like Raj as least favorite. And I don't want to do that often.
But we need Raj to redeem himself. We need some redemption for Raj. Hopefully we'll see. So you got Raj coming up
as your least as well?
I picked Raj as my least, but for my favorite, while I agree, I think these are classic Sheldon, and I love, really, he was my next up, but I love, even though he wasn't highlighted as much, I went with Howard because, again, him recording that fight scene in the first episode we talked about was so funny to me, and his reaction to not being invited to the symposium made me laugh so hard. So that was really funny there.
Howard in these early season episodes, to me, is very reflective of Chandler Bing in the early Friends episodes, where the story doesn't have to be about Howard, where Howard can just jump in with these one-liners that make you laugh more than anybody else. So I totally get that. I really didn't have anything bad to say about Leonard or Penny or Howard. Even Toby Loobenfeld was, totally entertaining. But that just left Raj out. Like, sorry, you're the one caught holding the bag.
Do you remember that movie Road Trip with Tom Green? Did you ever see that from like years and years ago? Because that's what I know that guy from.
I was going to say he's been in a few things. I recognize him. I don't know his name, but it's okay. Okay.
Road Trip, if you haven't seen it.
Ratings.
Yeah. Ratings. Okay. So I really liked both of these episodes. I found that both of these have rewatch value for sure. I liked the second one a little bit more. The Loobenfeld Decay, because of the whole bit with Toby and just the performance that he put on for Penny, and just that. Oh, one notable thing with this, Eric, I found so interesting that the second episode too, Penny never found out about the lie. I made note of that because I'm like, at the end of this, she never discovered that this guy was just telling a story and that they were just lying to her the entire time. So I found that interesting that they made that choice to have her not. I feel like a lot of times at the end of the sitcom, it's like they'll be found out, like it'll come full circle, and then it's like, hey, why were you guys doing that? And then they'll have to like recover from the lie or whatever. So just wanted to make note of that they never had to explain themselves. But
no, the recovery, the like end game recovery moment here was that Leonard had to see her performance anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So he had to figure that out, and we never witnessed how that went down. But
no.
Yeah. So I gave that one an 8.8. And I'm giving the Cooper-Hofstadter Polarization an 8.6. So these are my highest rated so far, I believe.
They are the luminous fish effect. You also had an 8.6 on, because I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
But as a pairing, for sure. I'm with you,
Yep.
by the way, on these. I feel like as a grouping, they are easily among they're the best pairing of episodes we've had so far. I thought for a while here on which one of these I liked a little better. And I agree. I'm going with the Loobenfeld Decay as a little bit better. And I think the reason why is because I like seeing, I just enjoyed seeing Sheldon and Leonard kind of team up against Penny more than them being at each other's throats. So I am actually just slightly lower than you on both. I have an 8.7 for the Loobenfeld Decay and an 8.5 for the Cooper-Hofstadter Polarization. Now, when I look on IMDb, as I have just pulled it up, the ratings are a little bit lower, but I think the ratings for Big Bang Theory are just lower in general, but that's okay. So where the Cooper-Hofstadter Polarization was the lower rated episode, I gave it an 8.5. You gave it an 8.6. The fans came in with a 7.9.
Oh, wow. Down in the sevens. Okay.
Well, and then the Loobenfeld Decay, I gave an 8.7. You gave an 8.8. It was an 8 flat.
Okay. So not that much higher than the other.
No, not a whole lot higher. Yeah. But again, like I said, the average episode on IMDb is clicking in at an 8.1. Where
so these are on the high end for
we're used to the Friends ratings where everything is almost like an 8.8 is the average.
Yeah.
Because they've got so many really high episodes.
Yeah.
But to me, an 8.5 to me is something I would rewatch this episode forever and ever and ever. And both of them got 8.5s from me. Nothing got into the 9s. So I would totally watch the physics gone wild fight. And I would watch, Cousin Leo. I would watch those episodes on rerun forever. I think they're great episodes.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are, and honestly, I guess when it comes down to it, like out of 10, an 8 is still a really high score.
Oh, it's still a really high score for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, these have been fun to talk about. I look forward to next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for listening to the We Run on Reruns podcast. Please check out our social media on Instagram and YouTube, and you can find our full podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you can give us 5-star ratings, not to mention many other podcast players. You can also find our full podcasts on our free Patreon account, which you can go log into there. We are at We Run on Reruns, and we really appreciate all the support that we're starting to see across the board. Thank you guys so much for tuning in every single week. For Amanda, this is Eric. Enjoy watching Big Bang Theory episodes 11 and 12 for next week. That is the Pancake Batter Anomaly and the Jerusalem Duality. Happy rerunning, everybody.
See you later, guys.